All right, today we're going to talk about something many of us think we know, but the story we're usually told is, well, it's pretty one-dimensional. So we're here to challenge that. We're going to look deeper into the incredibly rich, complex, and powerful history of the African continent.
So, I want to start with a really simple question, one that gets right to the very heart of our shared story as a species. Where does it all begin? The answer? Well, it's simple, but it's also incredibly powerful. It begins in Africa. And this isn't just a starting point, it's the foundation for literally everything that comes after.
So let's start right there, at the very beginning. This first part is all about understanding Africa not just as some place on a map, but as the actual origin point of our collective human story, the cradle of all humanity.
I mean, the archaeological evidence is it's overwhelming. The oldest fossils of our earliest ancestors, they've been found here. And this is also where our own species, Homo sapiens, first walked the earth. Think about that. Every single person alive today can trace their ancestry right back to this continent. But here's the thing. Just saying humanity started in Africa kind of misses a huge part of the story. It wasn't just about biology. It was the birthplace of human ingenuity, of creativity, of complex thought. Okay, now just take a second and look at these dates. The scale of time we're talking about here is absolutely mind-blowing. Organized fishing trips, 90,000 years ago. The very first mining operations, over 40,000 years ago. This is not primitive day-to-day survival. This was planned, sophisticated, innovative behavior.
And this is a perfect example, the Ishango bone. It's so much more than just an old artifact. It's like a little window into how the human brain itself was developing. It's considered one of the very first signs of mathematics, hinting at the dawn of abstract symbolic thinking tens of thousands of years ago.
So all this deep history of innovation, it didn't just disappear. It actually laid the groundwork for the incredibly complex societies that would come later, which brings us to our next section, the great civilizations that flourished all across the continent. Now, let's be honest for a second. When someone says ancient African civilization, your mind probably jumps straight to the pyramids and the pharaohs, right? To Egypt. And hey, for good reason. It was a truly incredible civilization.
But, and this is a really big but, focusing only on Egypt is kind of like reading the first chapter of a massive book and thinking you know the whole story. The continent was a vast tapestry, just buzzing with powerful, wealthy, and super sophisticated kingdoms. Just to give you a quick taste, let's look at 3 totally different examples from different corners of the continent. Over in the east, you had the Swahili Coast city-states. In the west, the incredible Kingdom of Benin. And way down south, the powerful Zulu Kingdom. Every single one was unique and remarkable.
Let's look a little closer. The Swahili Coast wasn't one kingdom, but a whole network of bustling port cities, a massive hub for international trade connecting Africa with the Middle East, India, even China. Then you jump over to West Africa, to the Kingdom of Benin, famous for its highly advanced political system and just these breathtaking bronze sculptures that are still considered masterpieces today. And really, these are just 2 examples. We could talk all day about the immense wealth of the Mali Empire or the amazing stone buildings of Great Zimbabwe. And then, in southern Africa, you've got the Zulu Kingdom. They became this incredibly dominant force, mostly because of the military genius of leaders like Shaka Zulu, who totally revolutionized warfare. Now, this skill for sophisticated military organization, that's a crucial point. Keep that in the back of your mind, because it's going to be important in just a minute. So, the main point here is that Africa was a continent of innovators and empire builders long before Europeans ever showed up. And it's that very capacity for sophisticated organization, politically, socially, and militarily, that brings us to our last section, reframing the colonial era not as a story of passive conquest, but one of active and, you know what, sometimes successful resistance. The common story we often hear makes the colonization of Africa sound like it was just a foregone conclusion, an unstoppable European wave. But is that the whole picture? Was it really inevitable?
No. Not even close. And this table shows you exactly why. Let's just look at this for a second. At the top, the Battle of Adwa. The Ethiopian Empire delivered a crushing, decisive defeat to the invading Italian army. Then there's the Battle of San Luana. Remember that Zulu kingdom we just mentioned? Yeah, they handed the mighty British Empire one of the most stunning defeats in its history. And these weren't just flukes. You have other victories like the one by the Sotho people in the gun war. These were major strategic wins.
But that victory at Adwa, wow, that was on another level. Its impact was seismic. Ethiopia's win was so total that it shattered the myth of European invincibility, and incredibly, it ensured Ethiopia's independence. It became this powerful symbol of resistance for people all over the world. Okay, so as we wrap this up, let's just quickly go over the main takeaways. Number 1, our shared human story, a story of innovation, it starts in Africa. Number 2, long before colonization, the continent was home to tons of diverse, powerful, and complex civilizations. And number 3, the history of colonization isn't a one-sided story. It includes a powerful legacy of smart, strategic, and often successful African resistance. And all of that leaves us with one final thought. We've really just scratched the surface today of a history that's so much deeper and more complex than we're usually taught. So the question I want to leave you with is this. If this much of the story can be so easily overlooked, what else are we missing?